Hello and welcome to Sophico. My name's Sophie and today we're going to be talking about renewable energy providers. So this is a topic that I feel very passionately about because it's one of the easiest things that you can do to reduce your impact on the planet, and out of all of the easier options that you can take, it is one of those that has the greatest impact. I know a lot of people do think that changing your energy provider is very complicated. It's really not. It's so easy. It takes about a few minutes to process everything in the first place, and then you might have to send a few documents off to the energy providers at a later date, but ultimately it takes such a small amount of your time. And then once you're switched onto a green energy provider, you're switched, you're done, you're good. You know, there are a lot of other changes that you can make where you do have to constantly think about that change, whereas this one, once you've done it, you've done it. So what I've done is I have chosen 7 green energy providers in the UK, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of a comparison between them to help you decide who you might want to go with. Yes, there are more than 7 in the UK, but if I'd been doing all of them, it would have taken me forever, so I've chosen the 7 that are kind of the ones that instantly come to mind for me when thinking about renewable energy in the UK. I certainly know the biggest ones are included in my list here. What I've done for all of the energy companies is I have used my living situation. So by my living situation I mean I am in a 2-bedroom flat. There are 2 people living in this flat. I live in a big city. I've used the same postcode for all of these searches, and I've put about a medium energy usage, which is about right for my flat. The idea is that I want you to have an understanding of the price differences between the different companies, as well as any additional benefits that you might get from being with one as opposed to another. What I've also done is gone on to 3 of the big 6, as they're called, the big 6 normal energy providers, although it shouldn't really be normal. I'd really like for green energy to be normal energy, like really carbon heavy fuels to be considered abnormal, but that's not the world we're living in right now. But yes, I've gone to 3 of those companies and got quotes from them as to what we'd be paying. I will give you those now. So yes, I am going to be looking at a notebook for this because I can't remember the figures off the top of my head. But for British Gas, they're kind of the biggest in the UK, I think. But for British Gas, I've been quoted £44.81 per month. For Eon Energy, £51.95 per month. And for EDF Energy, and this is the shocking one, and EDF has several tariffs, so I've gone for their variable tariff simply because most of the green energy tariffs were also variable tariffs, so I thought that would give the best comparison. For EDF, I was quoted £82 per month, which is quite a lot. It's quite a lot. So hold on to those figures in your mind, or at least rough figures if you can't remember the actual figures, when I'm going through the figures for all 7 green energy companies that I'm comparing in this video. Okay, so the first energy provider I would like to talk about is Pure Planet. Pure Planet is 100% renewable energy, as are most of the ones that I'm about to talk about, but there is one exception, but they are 100% renewable energy. Specifically, their energy comes entirely from wind power and solar power. That's not something that I could find for any other of the providers, so if that's something you're particularly concerned about, that you want majority solar and wind power, then that's a good option for you. They have no exit fees, which is great. Again, most of the providers that I'm about to talk about don't have exit fees either, but Pure Planet are one of the do not as well. Pure Planets also have a little scheme to try and help you refer others onto their energy provider. If you are a customer of Pure Planet, you have a special referral code that you can use, and if somebody else joins up using that referral code, you both get a £25 Amazon voucher. Now, how ethical that is a big question. I know there's a lot of questions about the ethics of Amazon at the moment. That is a subject for another video. That is not something I'm going to cover in this video, but that may or may not be something that is a concern for you, or perhaps just a feature that you wouldn't necessarily use. But the information is out there. So Pure Planet gave different quotes for medium use and low use. Now, looking at the official definitions, I'm kind of on the borderline between the two. So I'll give you the medium uses just to be kind of, to err on the side of caution. So for Pure Planets, for medium use, it is £34 per month for the summer months and £50 per month for the winter months, which you can instantly see is actually quite a bit cheaper than British Gas, E.ON and EDF, just cheaper than all of them. I don't know personally how I feel about the idea of having different amounts for summer and winter. I guess it's kind of useful in a way, but then also you have to pay more in winter, whereas just paying a little bit more throughout the month, so it kind of is a standardised rate. I think I prefer that personally, but if this is something you prefer, then this is an option for you. Okay, the next provider I would like to talk about is Good Energy. Good Energy are one of the longest running green providers in the UK. They've been running since 1999. Again, 100% renewable energy, although they also use hydropower and they also use biofuels. Biofuels take up quite a significant proportion of their energy usage. Good Energy are also one of a very, very small number of energy providers who actually invest in renewable sources of energy. So when you are paying your money to Good Energy, you're also paying for new wind farms, for new solar farms, for new hydroelectricity plants to be set up, which is a great way to spend your money if you have that money available. Good Energy also openly say that they pay all of their staff at least living wage, which shouldn't really be something that you should have to brag about. It should be standard across the UK that everyone gets living wage, but I know that that is not the case. So the Good Energy are one of the companies who do pay living wage. That's excellent in my books. They also offer a £50 referral scheme, so you get £50 credit on your account if you refer someone, and they also get £50 credit as well, so that's good. Now, in terms of what I'd be paying to Good Energy, it's a little confusing. So when I went through Good Energy's website to get a quote, the first price that they quoted me was, let me check, £46.90. But then I noticed that they'd made a couple of presumptions. So they had presumed that I used gas for my cooking and gas for my heating, even though I'd explicitly chosen electricity only. Now, I don't have gas. I don't have gas coming to this apartment. I feel like that quote could be taken out of context. I don't have gas. But yeah, I don't have gas coming to my apartment. So I use electricity for my cooking and I use electricity for my heating. And I then changed that and it came up with a new quote of £130.57 per month. I don't think so. With my current provider, and my current provider is on this list, I will point this out to you when we get to them, but with my current provider, I can kind of see how much I'm paying, and even though I have electric heaters, and even though I have an electric oven hob and everything, I'm not paying anywhere remotely near £130 per month, so I don't know. I assume the amount I'm paying would be nearer to the £40, well, the £46 mark, but I can't be sure. Next, we've got So Energy. So Energy are a newer energy provider. So Energy are actually Citizens Advice's #1 recommended energy provider, which is quite good credentials. Citizens Advice, if you don't know, and if you don't know then you should know, they're an organisation who are across the UK who help you with anything to do with living and that you might need advice for, so, you know, paying your bills, paying your mortgage. So for them to get their recommendation, that's quite a good thing. So Energy are also the only energy provider in the UK that let you choose where you want your energy to come from. So exactly where their energy comes from changes year by year because they let their members choose it. So again, if you're particularly bothered about which green sources your energy comes from, and they're still 100% renewable, but if you're bothered about which sources it comes from, you can choose where it comes from with So Energy. Now with So Energy, unlike a lot of the other green energy providers, theirs is a fixed term contract rather than a flexible contract. It's a 12-month contract and you have to pay a £5 early exit fee if you do want to exit from that early, so that is something that's worth bearing in mind. So cost-wise, again, I went for medium usage, just to err on the side of caution. So again, they split theirs into summer months and winter months. For the summer months, it is £41.25 per month, and for the winter months, £68.75. Next, we've got Octopus, which I've always thought is a really funny name for an energy provider, but then I guess where do you get the name for an energy supplier from? Octopus Energy also have £50 referral codes, which is worth noting if you are someone who wants to get a little bit of money off your bills. They're a very, very new supplier, only founded in 2016, but even though they've only been around for 3 years, they are the only energy supplier that is which recommended. Again, which recommendations is very, very important. Again, if you don't know what which is, go and check it out. Which are basically there to help you whenever you're purchasing anything of any value, to make sure that you're getting the best deal. And by best deal, it's not just in terms of cost, it's also in terms of everything to do with that product. So for example, when we needed to buy a dehumidifier for our flats, we went on Wish and we bought a Wish and Which are two very different things. We went on Which and got a Which recommended one to ensure that it was as energy efficient as possible, it was good value for money, customer service is good, warranty is good. So always have a look at Which recommendations. That's just general advice for life. Octopus also don't have any exit fees, so that's a really good thing. In terms of cost for Octopus, they don't split theirs into summer and winter months. I was quoted £54.04 per month. Okay, so we're now on to what I would consider the big three of the eco-friendly renewable energy suppliers. That was a faff way of saying it, wasn't it? Basically the top three, the three that are kind of instantly spring to mind for me when thinking of green energy suppliers. So we've got OVO. OVO, I've always questioned why they're called a green energy supplier, because unless you pay a £5 additional charge each month, it's not 100% renewable energy. Now if you do pay that £5 charge, you do also get 5 trees planted in your name with that money, so that's, you know, a good use of the money, but you know, I don't have to pay an additional £5 to get 100% renewable energy with other suppliers. Their standard tariff is 33% renewable energy, which for me is just not good enough. What they do have going for them though, is that if you have your balance in credit as opposed to in debit, then you get paid 3% interest on the amount that you have in credit. So, you know, you can get a little bit of, probably not much, but a little bit of extra money there for you. Also, OVO have started the OVO Foundation, which is a charity which supports youth projects around the world, so you can donate money to that. I think you can donate money to that even if you're not an OVO customer, so, you know, still worth supporting youth projects around the world. The one thing that I do want to say about OVO though is that I have had a bad experience with them myself. So just to give a very brief roundup of what happens, when I moved into my new apartment, the energy supply at the time was OVO. But I was doing some research and I wanted to change, and the supplier that I wanted to change to is the next one that I'm about to mention. But I'd never changed supplier before. I'd always lived in houses where I'd not been in charge of the bills, so I'd had to go with a different supplier. Now I was in charge of whatever supplier I wanted to go into, and I decided I wanted to go with this different energy supplier. I contacted them, said, do I need to let OVO know that I'm changing, or will you do it all from your end? And they said, yeah, we'll do it all from our end, and then OVO will send you out a final bill and then just pay that when it comes. So that all happened. I switched to this new company. OVO sent me out the final bill. Same day that I got the bill, I called them up, paid it, thought it was job done. And then it was a few weeks later, I got a letter through the door from a bailiff's, basically demanding that I pay this money now. If not, you know, they were going to come and take my stuff. So obviously I am horrified. At this point I've also been watching a lot of Can't Pay Will Take It Away, which, if you don't watch that, it is absolute trash TV. I'm not proud of it, but it was something that I enjoyed watching, and at that time I was kind of a little bit obsessed with it. So I was there going like, oh my god, they're going to take away all my things, I'm going to be left with nothing. And it was then a major faff to get OVO to admit, okay, no, actually, we have received this money, because I don't know if you've ever looked into the implications of once bailiffs have got involved, but it can be quite difficult the bailiffs still are under oath to act on the money that's owed until the company or until the courts tell them otherwise. So even if I'd been like going backwards and forwards between OVO for months and I'd not been able to confirm either way, the bailiff still could have come and taken my stuff at any point, which, you know, is terrifying. Eventually OVO did admit that they were at fault, but not after I'd been through a huge amount of stress and a huge amount of my time trying to go back and forwards between the bailiffs and OVO to try and get this all sorted. And I tried to get an apology out of them at the end, and they were so unapologetic, and they still didn't explain how it happened. And I think what made me angriest was that, you know, if they'd just sent me a second letter after the original bill, if they just sent me a second letter saying, oh, by the way, we've still not received this money, I could have called them up straight away and been like, okay, what's going on here, because I have paid this money. Whereas what they did was, as soon as they realised they hadn't got the money in their eyes, they had got the money, but as soon as they thought they hadn't got the money, got the bailiffs involved straight away. And for me, that's not acceptable. Bailiffs should be a last resort because they are absolutely terrifying. Not, you know, it's that they're not needed. Obviously they are needed in some instances, but it shouldn't be the first resort. It should be the last resort. Oh, I didn't actually mention how much OVO is. So OVO do a fixed rate and a variable rate, and the price is quite different for the two. For the fixed rate, for a 2-year fixed rate, is £55 per month, or for the variable rate it is £67 per month, but obviously that is variable, so it could go up and down. Anyway, rants about OVO over, let's go on to the next energy supplier. So the next one I would like to talk about is one that I am almost certain you will have heard of, and that is Bulb. Bulb, they have got adverts all around the country, in train stations, on buses, on TV, on the internet. So if you've gone this far without seeing anything from them at all, then I'll be quite impressed in a way. Also, Bulb are very, very, very well known for their £50 referral scheme. You will have probably seen on the internet lots of people trying to get you to sign up using their referral code, so you might have heard about it that way instead. Bulb also 100% renewable electricity from solar, wind and hydro in their case. And Bulb also, as well as not having any exit fees, will pay your exit fees. So if you're switching from an energy provider who are charging you exit fees, they will pay them. So you've really got nothing to lose if you did want to try going over to Bulb. So I should mention that Bulb is the provider that I am with. So I do have a £50 referral code if you do want to use it, but I don't want to pressure you into using Bulb. I want you to be able to make your choice as to which one you want, but I will put the referral code in the description down below if you did decide that Bulb were who you wanted to go with. So even though I'm already with Bulb, I did go through their website to see what they would quote me online, and they quoted me £46 per month online. Now I do pay a little bit more than that. I pay £65 per month, but let me just explain, because so when we moved into this place, we were told that we had storage heaters, and we are on economy 7 in this place. If you don't know what economy 7 is, it basically means you get a cheaper rate of electricity overnight. And so we thought, great, we'll, if you know, during the winter months, we'll use the storage heaters overnight, get the cheap electricity, and then have basically cheap energy throughout the day, because we're just using the energy that we've stored up overnight. When we actually moved in, it turned out that that was absolute, word that I'm not going to say on YouTube, nonsense, codswallop. Basically, the electric heaters that we've got in this place are hugely energy consuming, and so when we started using them during the winter months, the amount that we were using shot up so much to an absolutely extortionate amount. And so you can probably imagine Bulb changed our amounts when they saw that. Now, I'm very, very lucky in that my partner's family did have a couple of electric heaters that they gave to us, and these electric heaters, although they're still quite energy consuming, they're not as bad as the ones that are already installed in the flat. So our energy usage did go down, and now that we're coming into the summer months again, our energy usage has come down quite a lot again. So at the moment we're paying £65 a month to Bulb, but that's because of that anomaly with our electric heaters. And I'm sure that, well, I'm kind of hoping that they will drop that down soon, but we'll see. So the last energy provider that I would like to talk about is Ecotricity. And Ecotricity were the first green energy provider, not just in Britain, but in the world, which is quite impressive credentials to have. They are also the only energy supplier that are vegan society approved. So if animal welfare is something that is close to your heart, then you can be rest assured that with Ecotricity, they are taking care of the animals and they're not exploiting animals in any way. If you're wondering about in what way animals can be exploited in terms of energy production, I'm not sure of all of it. I do know that one way that energy is sometimes provided is through manure from animals, and that kind of comes under biomass or biofuels when you're looking at splits of energy production, but Ecotricity don't do any of that. There might be some other ways as well, but I'm not sure. Ecotricity also do an amazing job because they provide a fifth of their own electricity. So all the other companies, with the exception of Good Energy, which also provides a little bit of their own, all the other companies buy green energy, which, you know, is not a bad thing. Obviously we want to be supporting these, do like wind farms, solar farms, that kind of thing, and to keep them going. But Ecotricity own lots and lots of wind farms. They also put quite a lot of their money into developing more sources of renewable energy, so they're a really, really great company to support. They also have lots of other eco-friendly initiatives, so it's not just renewable energy that they're focused on, even though that's essentially what they sell. They are also trying to develop an eco park, which will have a very sustainably built football stadium as part of it, but it will also have about 500 new trees being planted, lots of wildlife around as well. I found out as well, interestingly, that they created a wind turbine for the hospital that I was born at, which is quite cool. So they're also helping other places to supply their own energy in a renewable way. Also, really cool, they've created their own mobile network, because I never thought about it, and I guess this is why like the videos like this are important, because there are lots of things that you might not necessarily lots of things that you might not necessarily think about. But when I'm using my mobile phone, yes, I've charged it up using renewable energy, but if I'm actually connecting to the internet or texting someone or calling someone, all of the services that are providing that, they are powered using whatever energy my phone provider wants to use, which chances are is not a renewable source of energy. So Ecotricity have created a mobile company called EcoTalk, which do that. They allow you to use your phone in a completely renewably energy sourced way. That was terrible English, but I think you understand what I meant. And the profits from that company as well are used for buying up sections of land and rewilding them, so basically letting them go back to nature to try and help improve the bee population. And if you've not heard about how important the bee population is, then probably do a little bit of research on that, because it's quite an important thing that we should be tackling. Ecotricity also have a refer a friend scheme, although it's slightly different. They give you a £25 voucher to Ethical Superstore. Ethical Superstore is a website where you can buy ethical products from a whole different variety of things. It's also actually just worth having a look at Ethical Superstore if you don't really have any places that you can buy zero waste products and ethically sourced products in your area. But yeah, so that's something that Ecotricity offer. Now, all of these services and all of these sources of energy that Ecotricity are trying to provide does come at an additional cost. So Ecotricity is a little bit more expensive. They are £66 per month, but personally, I do think that's worth it. The only problem is that I realise a lot of people can't really afford that, and I'm in that category as well. Yes, I know I did just say that I pay £65 a month with bulb because of the anomaly, but I imagine if that anomaly had happened with Ecotricity, I'd just be paying probably more like 80 something pounds, which is not something that I plan on doing anytime soon. So those are all 7 green energy providers that I wanted to talk about today. Like I say, there are more and you're welcome to do your own research on the other ones that are out there, but I hope this was helpful for you. If you want my overall recommendation, I would say that if you can afford to go with Ecotricity, go with Ecotricity. But I do understand that that is not accessible for everyone. So if you want to go with another provider, then please do. The important thing is that you're using renewable energy for your home, because it's such an easy thing to do and it really does make a difference. So yes, I hope you found this video interesting. I hope you found it helpful. Give it a like down below if you did, and comment below with what your energy supplier is, or if you're not currently on a green energy supplier, then let me know who you're planning on switching to, because I do want you to be switching to one. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you next time.